Hey everyone, it is Savannah, and you are back for another episode of Signature Ways. And I'm so excited because we have Taylor here today, and she has been in real estate for 5 years now, moved to Colorado in 2021, and honestly is just a breath of fresh air in this industry. She is a young entrepreneur that has absolutely been dominating this year and last year. And I'm just so excited to be having this conversation with her today because I think she's going to bring in such a new perspective and kind of where the industry is moving towards. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce Taylor. Hello.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here and thank you for the introduction.
Of course. So tell me, how did you end up in real estate?
So, I want to say that from the time I was like 4 or 5, my stepdad was a home builder. So, I have lived in so many different homes growing up, and it never was a home. It was a spec house that we were living in for a couple years so that we can get ready for showings. And so it never was really that fulfilling experience. So I've been in the real estate industry, I would say, my whole life, but I couldn't build a home, but I could sell a home. And it really catapulted me into the actual selling of a home, not only a house. So kind of been in it my whole life, but moving to Colorado really opened up everything for me and really got me launched into the industry.
I love that perspective that you have too, that it's a home because just what you experienced, you want people to experience what it's like to actually own a home and be in their own space. Tell me a little bit about how that kind of looks in conversations with your clients or how you accomplish that experience.
So I would say that in real estate, this is one of the biggest purchases potentially of your entire life. For most people, this is going to be the biggest purchase. And you can either have a really great experience or you can have a really bad experience. And I found that, it has to be delicate. It can't be getting information so that you weaponize it from people, but like really getting to know what is motivating you, and not only what is motivating you financially, but are there people that you're looking to move closer to, or did some type of life situation happen? And so it's really getting clear on who these people are, what's important to them, and really what the end destination is. Because what I'm really good at is just soaking it all in and saying, oh, okay, Colorado is going to be the great place for you. And not only that, but this city, this neighborhood, this community. And so I really love it because anytime I have a closing, I'm kind of like, oh, where are my friends? What are you guys doing? Where are you guys at? What are you doing? And so it's been really neat because I get to really know these people and they become my best friends because it's more than just a real estate transaction. It's actually, opening doors for people and potentially getting them into the next chapter of their life, which is so, I feel like sometimes you have that rain that pulls you back and you might never make that leap. And for me personally, moving to Colorado and having this venture has been one of the best things that I've ever done for my life. And so it's been really neat helping people do the same. And I think that's how the conversation starts is I'm so excited to share this with people because it's been such a game changer for my life as well.
First off, so much passion behind it. And yet, I think one of the things, so you're making sure that you understand exactly what these people want out of their lifestyle and knowing your community like the back of your hand. So you can say, great, well, I think this neighborhood is actually going to be the best because they have, maybe they're huge golfers. It has one of the best, golfing communities, but everyone's friendly there. And so by understanding your client's true motivation and your neighborhood, you're actually able to pair them. So after the transaction, they're like, oh my gosh, she was so right. And now I'm experiencing what you experienced when you moved here.
Yeah. And what I like to say, especially in Colorado, because I came from New Mexico. So before we had moved, we were renting a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home with like pecan trees and a pizza oven and a huge backyard. And we were spending $750 a month. So we went from, not spending a lot at all to moving to Colorado and being like, oh my gosh, this is a lot more. And I'm very grateful that we did it. I'm very grateful that, I was able to learn the lessons that I did, because that truly is the lens that I teach my clients through. But, there are some people that shouldn't move to Colorado, and there are some people that move here and they get here and they realize that it's not affordable or it's not the right place for them. And they spend their lives working so hard just so that they can go back home. And that's so defeating in life, to feel like you made this big shot, you got everything together, you moved states, and it wasn't what you thought it was going to be. And now you're spinning your wheels just getting back to where you came from, that you didn't want to be in the first place. And so I'm so passionate about really helping people avoid the mistakes that I've made myself, and also the mistakes that I've seen in this industry. Because, I think I was reading this book called 12 and a Half by Gary Vee. And his last principle that he's working on is kind candor. And it really struck me, because you, as a real estate professional, you can say to people, yes, 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 like, let's go forward. It's the perfect place. And it might not be. And I believe that it is actually more kind to somebody to say, Colorado's not the right place for you, and you're going to get here and you're going to struggle. And so I want people to get here and thrive. I don't want them to get here and be like, oh no, we're not able to afford the lifestyle that we wanted. We're not able to do all of these incredible things that people are posting about on social media. And we're honestly miserable and isolating ourselves because we don't get why everyone else is able to thrive and we're not. So I think sometimes I feel like the bearer of bad news, but it really helps put people in the position of, if this is right for you, we're going to get you to Colorado and you're going to have an incredible experience. And it can be something that really gets you started on this incredible path. And if it's not, I want to be honest with you and really get you focused on different states or a different area, so that you can still thrive and be able to relocate and be able to move out of your hometown, but not do it in a way that is going to hurt you in the long run.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I love that you take that perspective towards it, because a lot of agents, they're just like, oh, well, they're willing to buy a home, I'm going to sell them a home. Mm-hmm. In turn, it can actually cause such a financial stress on it. And, in today's world right now, with where gas is at and stuff like that, like, it's a lot. And I think people don't actually think about all those things, especially when they're moving across state lines. They don't realize, that we have higher costs just across the board in everything. Look at the electricity bills and the water bills, versus where I grew up in Michigan. A lot of homes don't have water bills because they're on wells and the way it's all structured back there. So I definitely love that you are taking and sitting them down and going, okay, is this actually the right place for you?
And I think something else that I'm super passionate about is that people have to be involved in their own success. And so I get a lot of my business from social media, because that's usually where people are reaching out to, start their relocation. They're looking for questions and answers from people in the community. And oftentimes you see just a lot of just instant bang, 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 bang. You should talk to this person, or you should relocate here. And it doesn't really seem like people are doing their own research. And then they end up in this awful situation. And I get so many people that talk to me and they're like, I really wish I would have talked to you, because I didn't know what concessions were. And I didn't know that we were in a buyer's market. And I didn't know that you could negotiate. And it just breaks my heart, because unfortunately you have to have your own best interest at heart, so that you can spot if somebody is not the best advocate for you. So I can have the best interest for all of my clients, and there's still going to be people that, unfortunately, because they're not doing their own due diligence and their own research, they're ending up in the wrong situation. So it's just so important to, even if you feel like you're working with somebody that, you know, is giving you all these answers, it's really important for you to still make sure that you're sitting down and asking yourself those questions and making sure that this is the right fit for you. Because I'm always going to be like, hey, Colorado's great, but there's going to be some people that, you know, everyone should sit back and really digest all of these conversations and say, is this ultimately going to be the best decision for us?
Well, and I think one thing that out of all of that is you're actually having a consultation. So your
Yes.
clients understand these things. And I think, you know, yes, we had the NAR lawsuit, all that kind of thing that changed a lot of things. So people have to sign agreements before they go see homes. And yet consultations aren't still happening a lot of the times. And so I feel like that's why buyers maybe don't understand the process versus you're actually sitting down, having a consultation, going over their need analysis and making sure they understand the process so they know how to also advocate for themselves, and you support that.
Yes. We're a team in this, and I want my clients to know how to negotiate just as good as I can, because when I come to them and I say, look, this is what the market's telling us, and this is what's fair for a concession, and this is where we're going to start so that we can hopefully end up right where we want to be, it helps them understand where we're coming from and also have the ability to have a rebuttal. Because when you have understanding of what we're actually talking about, you're able to interject and say, hey, well, I actually have a question about this, or can we pause? Can we dig further on this, or what's going on here? And so I do not have anybody that has buyer remorse on their home. And it's because I'm truly making sure this is the home that you want to proceed with before we ever get 3 days from the closing table. Like, that's not happening, because they truly are in the driver's seat. I'm guiding you through this. I'm helping you navigate it, but this is truly your show. I'm just here to make sure that you stay on the rails and that you get to the destination.
Yeah. Amazing. So backtracking a little bit, you know, they say the first year of real estate is the hardest year, right? And I think it's one of those things that all of us have been through our first year, and, you know, some have had great success right out of the gate, but there was also just like falling flat on your face moments, right? So talk to me about your first year and some lessons you learned that helped shape your business today.
So I laugh at that question, because anytime somebody asks me how my first year in real estate went, I say that I learned every single thing not to do in the industry. And I moved up here during COVID. So I was laid off from a serving job in New Mexico. I was very thankfully getting paid unemployment. Moved up here, and I think within like a week or two, I was on Indeed looking for just different options, because just didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to get into real estate, but I didn't think it was going to come that quickly. I came across somebody that was, it was a Minnesota company that was starting a brokerage in Colorado and was giving out scholarships for you to get your licensing. And I'm like, okay, cool. And the first thing I needed to do was do a video interview. And I remember talking to the woman, and she was like, video is going to take over. And I'm like, well, good thing I love being on camera. And so that's kind of like started the whole, like, the messaging for me. But they were a company out of Minnesota, and I remember the owner, he came out to the Gaylord of the Rockies. They scheduled this room and they spent a bunch of money, and the room was full of agents from the brokerage, and there was probably like 2 sellers in the room. And I remember shaking the owner's hand, and I was like, I'm so excited. Like, I can't, like, I'm so excited to work for you. Like, this is incredible. And I just remember his eyes just being like really wide. Like, this guy is just like stressing. And so a week later, we have this random call, and they're like, we are in debt. We're shutting our doors. We're pulling out of Colorado. And it's not like tomorrow you're going to wake up and all of your lead sources are going to be turned off. You have until the 31st of December. And the next day we all woke up and all of our emails, everything was gone. Everything was gone. And I had added like all of my family members and friends and everything to my database. And they started getting messages from all of these agents that were back in the original state. So absolute mess. I went to another brokerage that was very focused on ads for Chaffa. And so I was the bearer of bad news all day, every day. I talked to people that just got out of prison. I talked to people that were homeless. I talked to people that had just lost children that were looking for funeral costs. And I just was constantly like, no, 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 no. You can't do this with a 300 credit score. You can't do that. And so I got fed up with that. And I went to EXP for a year because I was like, I've got it all figured out. Like, I don't need any of the support. And I was just so isolated. I'm such a social creature, and I was so isolated. We had just moved here from New Mexico. And so not only did I not know anyone, but now I'm on an online cloud-based brokerage where I don't have to see anybody. So I sold 2 transactions my first year, and I didn't know anyone. I didn't have I was so depressed. I was so miserable. I didn't have any friends, nothing. And I finally was like, I've got to get out and meet people because I'm not really enjoying my experience here. And so I joined a team with Keller Williams and learned so much. I learned so much from Brendan Bardick. Honestly, I learned just so much, different ways of being confident and just different ways of getting business. But I'm not somebody that is going to come into your home and be like, you should list with me. And there was a energy that I respect and I admired, but I couldn't tap into. I just couldn't tap into. I couldn't tap into that male dominating, I've got it all figured out. I'm the one you want to list with. That just wasn't something that I could jump into. And I found that I had all of these people that I was connecting with, but their mothers and brothers and sisters and cousins, and everybody was a realtor. Everyone knew somebody. So I really realized in my first 2 years of real estate that I can't do this alone. I need to get in front of people. I need to learn from people. I need to be around what is happening, or else this isolation is bringing me further into this rut. And I also realized that I can't remember where I heard this. But this woman, she said, your mess is your message. And I was like, holy crap. I moved to Longmont, Colorado because I saw a YouTube video talking about how great Longmont, Colorado was. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's it. I need to talk to people that are like me. So I started a YouTube channel and kind of floundered for a little bit. But, once I got past I need to wear perfect clothes and do my hair perfect and all of these things, I kind of started showing up. I don't know where my makeup bag is, and I have no idea where my clothes are. I'm wearing sweats underneath my really pretty shirt. And I just realized the anxiety and the stress that I was having of trying to fit in these shoes that I never was going to fit in, it made me inauthentic to the people I was talking to. It just wasn't clicking because I was not being myself. And so now I ramble a lot on my YouTube, and I talk a lot about the things that are important to me and what I've learned. And I honestly have people that reach out to me and they're like, I really love your black cat. So I thought I was going to reach out. And so it's been a really neat, my business trajectory has been parallel to my personal development. Every single time I started thinking am I really cut out for this business? What am I doing? Can I do it? My business tanked. And the second I started no, I've got this. I like people. I'm a good person. I treat people kindly. I really care about them. And I almost invest like almost a little bit more than I should, because I'm the type of person that wakes up from a dream and is still like, I forgot Table Five's ranch 6 years ago. Like, oh my gosh. So like it's just been really neat, because while assisting people on an incredible journey of and also self-development for themselves, of relocating to a different state, it's also been really neat because I have been navigating this life journey of like, who am I? Like, who am I meant to serve? Who are my people? And it's been neat to arrive at this point of, those are my people, and this is who I am, and this is what I love to do. And it's neat to now articulate that without having to think about it or stop. So I've learned so much. And it's honestly all come down to, I'm the only person that's standing in my own way. And I'm also the only person that can get out of my own way. And so that's been a very beautiful realization for me.
I love that on so many levels, and partially because of a class that I teach to young adults, and everything you said that I'm like, thank you. Because the biggest thing I see hold agents back is their mindset, and not getting out of their own way, and not stepping into who they truly are. I know agents, and I just look at them and I'm like, oh my gosh, your role is just so put together. Like, you got it. I'm like, how do you do it? And every time I tried to mimic that, it was just like a standstill to the business and everything. And I'm like, you know what? No, this is who I am. This is how my brain works. You either like it or you don't. Sorry.
And so I was hosting this class at the Preferred office. I think it was October of 2024. And it was the ABR class. We got somebody to come in, and it was 2 full 8-hour days for them to get this accreditation. And the guy that was hosting it on the second day, he was like, do you always smile that much? Has anyone ever told you that that's so annoying? And I kind of laughed and was like, what's so great about it is that the people that are meant for me smile back, and the people that aren't say something nasty about it, and I get to steer clear of them. So thanks. And
yeah,
so
really, thank you.
It's really been
oh my gosh.
When I first started, I was 21. So everyone was constantly like, oh, you're so young, you're so young, you're so young. And I would constantly it was always the grandfathers that were like, I've been alive 50 years longer than you've been. And like, just all these things. And I took it to heart. I would stutter. I didn't know how to combat what they were saying. And it was truly because I felt incompetent in the industry. I didn't know enough. And so navigating it, and like, really, sometimes I'm like, I'm too stupid to give up, which like is coming clutch for me. But I just was like, I can't give this up. Like, I really want to get this. And so I tried really hard. I am somebody that is coached on YouTube University, which like makes so much sense for me to do YouTube. But I made it a point of like, I want to get this. I want to realize this. And so my competence in the industry is truly what allowed me to bridge that gap. Because when I first started, I didn't know enough to articulate why somebody should work with me. And it was very, the other thing too, is that when I first started in real estate, for the first 2 years, it was, real estate is so hard. Real estate is so hard. This industry is so hard. Like, I can't figure it out. I don't know what's wrong with me. I am losing business constantly. Like, it was all negative. It was all negative. And I brought that to me. I brought on the craziest experiences in my first 2 years of business, and dangerous experiences. And it was because I was not aware that I had everything that I needed. And I just truly needed to shift my my perception of myself. That was what it was. Because once and I believe that. I believe that I am the best agent for the job. I believe that if we have a conversation and you tell me what's important to you, I can deliver. I believe that full-heartedly. And when I first got into the business, I didn't believe in that. So that's been the change for me, truly, because now I make sure that I deliver on that. Whereas before it was a little bit of like murky waters of, I don't know what my worth is in this business. I don't know what my value proposition is. I don't know why you're working with me as an agent. That was the first couple of years. Whereas lately it's, I know exactly why you're working with me. And I don't even have to say it because I'm delivering on it.
Yep. And that's the shift right there. Mm-hmm. So mindset, obviously, number one, everything I teach, I'm like, mindset. I always sneak a section in mindset just because I'm like, if you don't know it, then you're going to hit a plateau and never surpass. So talk to me then around maybe a system or branding or something that you're doing that is also leading to success now that you know.
So my biggest success point truly is talking to people that I understand. So I understand the mindset of first-time home buyers. This is a tough economy. It's a tough world to buy a home in. And a lot of people that I talk to are kind of navigating do we buy a home or do we have kids or do we go to college? Like it's one or the other. It's not all of it. And so it's having the empathy to talk to somebody in that light, because if you don't understand, if you don't have any issues with finances in this world, it's really easy to be misaligned with somebody that is struggling with it every single day. And so I understand the mindset of first-time home buyers. I understand what it's like to try and navigate a great lifestyle in Colorado and feel like you have to pick and choose. And so I think talking to people where they're at, and then also on the relocation lens, I've made every mistake when it comes to relocating too. In 2023, I had a brand new car I had for probably 6 months, and we didn't get gap insurance on it. And I drove into a tornado. Like I'm serious. Like my windshield, I was watching the hail and it's all doof, 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 doof. And once I got off the highway, every bypass, like everything was taken, and there was people running around like with their heads bleeding and windshields broken everywhere. And that was like what? We have tornadoes in Colorado? We have hail damage like this in Colorado? What are you talking about? What is gap insurance? And then Longmont. I love Longmont. I love that area. I think it's like more like country feel. But because I work with a lot of relocation clients, I was finding myself in rush hour for hours on end. And I'm somebody that grew up like surrounded by woods. So at first I'd have my half-gallon water bottle, and halfway through this, I'd be like, oh my gosh, there's concrete everywhere. There's no bathroom. How do I get off of this highway? Like, what's going on? And so we had to relocate from Longmont to Westminster. That was a big cost. And so all of these things, really, all of the points where I've been like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, I talk about it. And people really feel seen in that, because a lot of my content is also, here's all the negatives. And if you're still here after all the negatives, here's how you can put it in a positive light. And so it's kind of like, I'm going to hit you with all the realistic accounts of it. And if you're still here, then it can be all like sunshine and rainbows, and here's how to make it happen. But really speaking to people where they're at. And like I said, I think you have to have a delicateness in it, because if you are talking to people's pain points to exploit them and take advantage of them, that's awful. You shouldn't do that. But if you're specifically asking about why they're moving, and a lot of, I think what's so interesting with where we're at politically is that there's a lot of shakeup and moves cross country. People are moving because of politics. And so to be able to have those conversations with people of, this is going to be a refuge for you, or hey, you should maybe look into this further before you move here. And really having that, if this was me, I'd want this person to tell me the truth. I would want them to give me all of this information because I moved here not knowing all of that information. And it's turned out to be a really incredible experience. But I think that I would have been so much further ahead had I not had to navigate all of that. I mean, my best year in real estate was 2023. And I went from driving a vehicle to not having a vehicle, not being able to do showings, and also still having a car loan. And so that blew up my business. And so just truly the human existence is so crazy. And I think that being a human for other people and not just a salesy realtor is what has gotten me my success. And that was my problem at first, is I thought I had to sell people. I don't have to sell anybody. I just have to tell them exactly what it's like, and they sell themselves. I don't have to sell anything. They discover it themselves. And that's what's so great, is that nobody has ever been like, "Ooh, this is not the place for me," because this is the place for you. And you've come to that realization on your own, just with the information I provided you, but there's not been any pushing at all. And they truly are in the driver's seat. So I think that you have to figure out like what you've gone through in your life that gives you credibility to help people in the same situation.
Right there. And it's because people want to work with people that they feel like they know and trust. And if you've gone through something similar, one thing I see some agents, single moms, and I see them help single moms buy homes. And that's because they're passionate about it. They are one themselves, and they know what it's like to go through that. Veterans know how to help veterans. And so I think it's so important to reflect on your life and go, okay, where did I experience some hardship, and how did I overcome that? And how can I help my clients do the same thing?
And it turns it into, I try to find like reasoning in things, because it kind of helps me keep going when things like, why did that happen? And so it's really helped me sit back when sometimes things are going a little crazy. I'm like, okay, what's the message here? What am I supposed to learn? What is being taught to me here that I can help somebody else with, instead of just like, poor me, because I've been there. I was there, and I think that energy is repulsing to somebody that is trying to start a new chapter. For you to be this whiny, poor me realtor, nobody wants to work with that. I don't want to work 100%. With that.
No one does. Well, because then they feel like it's their obligation to help you.
Yes. Yeah. And I that's what's so cool about the way that I've built my business too, is that with YouTube, when I first started, I did a lot of like Zillow leads and realtor.com leads. And I found myself in a situation where I didn't know someone, and I went into a no service zone, and I was in a home with a random person that was asking me questions like, do you have service? Are you alone? Like just the craziest things. And then I would also work with people that would say, if you're not available to do this right now, I'll just call somebody else on the app. Or after I take them through a home, and this was before like the litigation and everything, so it was a little bit different, but after I take them through the home and I've taken off my Sunday, or I haven't like gone to a birthday party or celebrated something in order to do this showing, and they've said, well, we're just going to contact our realtor because we want to put in an offer now. And so it was so, I think the self-worth was really, I was dealing with two things of, I'm getting a lot of pushback from the industry because there's no loyalty. I didn't have any loyalty between these people. They didn't owe me anything. And I also didn't feel respected. I didn't feel like these people respected my time, my like anything. And so I had that. And then I also had my own lens of like, do I respect myself? Like, would I be doing this showing if I really respected my own time and my own boundaries? And so navigating both of those and really being like, I don't want to work with people that don't like me. Like, this is awful. I hate this, especially because my energy, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And to have somebody just be like, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is miserable. The whole thing's miserable. So, what's awesome about content and what's awesome about YouTube is that I think there's a lot of people that watch my content that decide I'm not the realtor for them. And they never have to reach out to me. And I never hear about it. And I don't ever have to do any work for any of these people and get turned down afterwards. And the people that end up reaching out to me, the loyalty is built off of she's sharing this information and she's sharing her story and she's sharing boots on ground feel of what it's actually like to live here. We feel like we like her and trust her because of like, and the other thing that's very interesting is that a lot of my clients are over 65 and they're putting me up on the TV. And so when you think about like the news reporter and a lot of like the perception of whatever the news says is truth, I am now in a position of what I am saying, they're consuming as truth. And so they develop the loyalty because they feel like I am delivering them information and truth. And like we kind of already have a friendship before they ever reach out because they've done their own vetting. And so that's really been the game changer for me because I love the people I work with. I love what I do every day. I love posting about like all these different dreams and things that people are doing. And it's so fun to help somebody. Like I had somebody that was doing a for sale by owner he was basically doing a for sale by owner. He had listed with a 0.5% agent that was like in his 70s and told him that he's got a good enough reputation to where he doesn't have to do any marketing because the buyer is going to come from his own database. Well, I helped him and he's 71. So I helped him create a Facebook page and do ads. And he had 24 people to his open house that he was hosting by himself. And one of them bought the house. So it's been really fun. It's been really fun to like help them navigate different experiences in order to get to Colorado. And he's so funny. He's been in buildings since 1984. And like at first, like this man knew better than me. And so it's been really cool to like come to this equal position. But when we first went under contract on a property here, I had the inspection dates as 7 days out. And he was like, that is just so soon, Taylor. I can't believe it. In California, we have no sooner than 17 days. And I was like, this isn't California. And I'm not a California realtor. I'm a Colorado realtor. And we do things quickly here so that if you don't want this home, not only are you able to find another one, but the seller's able to find another one because we respect all parties here. And so he went under contract on his home and he called me and he's like, and I told them that I wanted a 7-day inspection contingency. I'm like, you're such a brat. So it's just cool because it's like I don't know, I'm all about the life experience. I'm all about the experiences. And it's been really neat to help people have a good experience coming to Colorado because I love it here. I love it here. And everybody that's come here, it's really neat to see what they're doing and what they're building. And it's just neat. So it's almost like a little bit of an ego boost to be able to be like, I get to be a part of this awesome journey. And so, yeah, it's all the good feelings. And I think that that's the important piece is that when I first started in real estate, everything I was doing made me miserable. Everything I did made me miserable. I would call expireds and like I do this like weird thing where I like shrivel up and I'm like, oh, I feel so small. Yeah, like I feel so gross and small and like these people are so mean and like For some people, that's going to be a great book of business. And, you know, I'm not a like hounding person. I'm kind of somebody that like, I want to be able to show up and be myself and share what I have to share. And if you feel called by that, awesome. Let's work together.
I love that. I have loved all of this because just the mindset perspective. And I think it's going to be such a breath of fresh air to hear this because, there's all these strategies, right? But at the end of the day, if you understand who you are as a person, you will find the right strategy and your business will explode because of it. And you're living proof of this actually happening, which I love. So, closing question. You already mentioned a great book that you absolutely love. So the last question I actually want to ask you is if you could talk to your younger self first getting into real estate or another young entrepreneur getting into real estate, what piece of advice would you give them?
I would get to know myself first before I tried to get to know other people, because moving in a clouded, moving from point A clouded and trying to navigate things and help people get to where they wanted, but not really knowing. And like, it's interesting because I knew that I had the ability, like, I'm a smart girl. I'll figure it out if I don't know it. And so I knew that I had the capability, but it truly was this, it was all the self-worth. It was all the self-worth. I actually, I'll have to change my password after this episode, but my password is worthy to sell with the year afterwards. And so that was specific to me, is every single time I wanted to log into my contract system or my MLS or my KW site, I wanted to type in worthy to sell because I wanted to remind myself that I'm worthy to do this. I'm worthy to be paid this amount of money. I'm worthy to be trusted with people's livelihoods. Like, I am worthy of this. And so I think I would have just gone back and like really had a coming to with myself of like, you can do this. And this is something that you are going to do. And also really, if I would have sat down and really got clear on who I was meant to help, I would have been able to help that person a lot sooner. I lost a lot of traction trying to be somebody for everybody. And I'm not the right realtor for everybody. I'm not. I'm the right realtor for people that want to relocate to the state of Colorado. And I'm the right realtor for people that want to understand the market and really learn how to navigate it so that they end up on top. And so I'm not meant for, like, I think personality types is very important too. Really getting clear on I'm a bubbly, excitable, optimistic, outgoing, super excitable person, and that's okay. And my clients are like that too, and it works really well. And so, yeah, I would kind of just tell myself to trust who you are, and also when you get a no, trust the no, and keep on going. You don't have to consistently try and do something that's making you feel miserable. That's huge too. I would have told myself, stop doing things that make you feel miserable. Why are you? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're successful in real estate if you're miserable. And I was on that trajectory of, well, I'm successful, but I'm miserable. Like, are you really successful if you're miserable every single day? And I would say that, less transactions and just being happy in what I do is better. And what's been really neat about that is because I'm working with the people I'm meant to work with, they refer me to their friends that are people that I love. And so it's really neat how it starts to grow.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. I loved all of this. This was so fantastic. I'm like, we will have to have you back, and we're just going to have a total mindset conversation in the near future because it's just amazing to hear someone else go. Cause I see it all the time and I'm like, oh, they're in their own way. And I feel like sometimes when it just comes from me, people are like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But I'm like, no, see, living proof right here. Here it is. So thank you for being vulnerable and sharing all of that, because I really hope this inspires other agents as well.
Thank you. I appreciate you and the questions and letting me ramble on and share it all.
Of course, always. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will have Taylor also tagged in this when it airs, so you can reach out to her if you have additional questions. And we will see you all in 2 weeks for the next episode.